My name is Kelly Salee. I am a 2001 Harrison graduate. My friend Tiffany Krammes was killed by a drunk driver. How I found out was Tuesday morning, February 13th at 5:55 a.m. My landline telephone rang with caller ID and it said Scott Krammes. I picked up the phone the same time my mom did, and I hear Tiffany's mom Sherry say, "Chris," which is my mom, "I need you to get up." So I kind of wake up, set up myself. She said, "There's been an accident." I kind of like, maybe she's downstairs. She said, "Tiffany is dead. Plain as day." Tiffany and her friend Mike were coming back from a party in Illinois. Mike literally, in the slightest detail, crossed over the left line, center line. Just so happened a state trooper was coming towards him. Cop turned around on him, lit him up, and Mike instantly took off. 55 down here on the left is where he turned onto. He went on a 17-mile chase, clocked at over 102 miles an hour. Knew he was intoxicated, knew he had drugs in his system, and my friend Tiffany was screaming for him to stop. But what you don't know is that Mike was driving on a suspended license, because 7 months prior to that, he ran into a building in downtown Lafayette, intoxicated. And 8 months prior to that, in '99, he ran into a building, intoxicated. So he knew he was in trouble. When he turned up to Pine Village at 55, he took a right heading east on 26. He got about 3 miles down the road, and for whatever reason, Tiffany screaming at him, he said, "I just decided to stop." So when Mike was going over 100 miles an hour in his Z71 Camaro, 5-speed, he dropped it down into 4th gear, the car fishtailed, and darted off into the cornfield. And in that time, it flipped end over end over end. And mind you, neither one of them were wearing their seatbelts. Mike got ejected on the first flip. Tiffany stayed in the car, thrown around like a rag doll, end over end over end. Mike was actually up and walking around the vehicle before the police ever even caught up to them. As you can see, the driver's side door is semi-open. He just kind of popped out. And my best friend Tiffany was in the passenger seat without a seatbelt on, crushed.
So you had mentioned that it was just minutes away from your house to crash, and like we're driving 10 minutes away from there, and that's exactly where we're heading now to. Is actually the crash site of the accident.
Yep.
Do you call it an accident? What do you personally approach?
I personally call this a crash.
Crash.
Accidents can be prevented.
That's true.
He chose to drink and drive. He made that choice. So for me, when I refer to this, it's a crash.
It's a crash.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's a lot of feelings tied up into it, and then you see the kids that are still impacted.
Yeah.
This was so long ago, not even that long ago in the grand scheme of things, but so long ago that then just yesterday you had someone else who's going through the same thing. And like, what do you say to them? Like, what do you even? Because you got to be real.
Yep.
And like, man.
You know, I spent a lot of time with some people yesterday, and it was unexpected for me, like I said. you know, when everyone at my high school knew that Tiffany and I were best friends.
Right.
When the high school found out that she was killed, I can't tell you how many people had called me, left me messages, reaching out. You know, we didn't have cell phones back then, so they were calling the landline. I think by the time we left our house, went to my sister's to tell her what had happened, and come back, I think we had 52 voicemails on our answer machine.
Yeah.
But my high school guidance counselor said to me when I went to school the next day and we met, she said, now the question is, how are you going to honor her? And at 17, there was a lot of things going on that had nothing to do with honor her.
Exactly.
I was angry, I'm mad, I can't believe it was Mike that killed her, my niece's dad, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean?
How do you honor something like that? Like,
right.
How do I honor her when this is a whole tragedy that was in literal as a 15-minute program? You guys were in the program together.
So this is, I guess you would say, the curve that she was begging him to stop, yelling at him to stop, and for whatever reason, he had decided to stop, and, you know, dropped his car, which was a manual, down to 4th gear. And about right here, this sign wasn't here at the time, he catfished and shot off into the field this way. And it just rolled end over end over end into the field. And yeah, I mean, he was knocked out on the first flip. Neither one of them have their seatbelts on, and she stayed in the car and rolled with it.
Wow. Did they say how many times it might have flipped? There's no way to even really.
There's no way to really even tell. He thanked. I think I read in a report somewhere he maybe said 8 times, ish. To me, that may be a lot.
Wow.
Especially flipping him out. So the afternoon of February 13th, my friend and I came out here to find the site, find what happened. And we found a lot in the field, a lot of things. Out that afternoon of February 13th, I mean, this whole field, I mean, you could see it when we came around. I mean, this whole field was covered with car pieces. She had a shoe, gum, blood, gauze. It was all right here.
All here.
And I mean, these skid marks are obviously from a tractor, but you could see the skid marks on the road. You could see it all, where it shot, kind of where the ground had impacted from the car rolling end over end. And you know, I don't have it, but the hardest thing for me to find was she was chewing gum.
She was chewing gum.
And
you found that gum.
Found the piece of gum in her pack of gum. She always had green extra gum on her. And finding that,
right, and that was when you, like,
yeah, it was like, I know the person that was here with between the Doc Martin, the ring that we found, and the gum was my friend, and that was hard. So I did what, you know, I thought any normal person would do, and I picked up car pieces from the car and just was like, this was the car that my best friend was in, that she was killed by. And 20 years later, I try and think, you know, what happened? You know, lights, pieces of lights. It was all just scattered into pieces. You know I put steel here this time because I know that she was made of steel, and I just hope that she's looking down on it and is proud of it and happy for it.
It's beautiful.
And to me, this just shows that she's still hanging on to her space.
Yep, her personality.
Yep.
Still into it.
Yep.
Yep.
when we left the chapel and they had the tent up and everything, and it's like this is the spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just right over here, I can't remember where the building was exactly, but when I saw her tombstone out that day, and I just hugged it. It was like, this is it. Your tombstone is your final goodbye, kind of. And spent a lot of nights out here in my early 20s just laying with her and being so angry with her. And mad that she went without me.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. This is her senior picture. Senior portrait. Her two things that she loved: softball and basketball. The best thing for me with her is seeing her smile on her tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a smile you'll never forget.
Especially in the eyes. I like she smiles really well with her eyes.
Yep.
It's the first thing I noticed. Then the hair.
Mm-hmm. She had good curly hair, wavy hair. So my junior year of high school, Tiffany's senior year of high school, Harrison put on an every 15-minute program. And that program is based on every 15 minutes, someone in the United States is killed by a drunk driver. So in short, they pick 20 to 25 students. A Grim Reaper comes the day of and pulls a student out and then reads their obituary to the class. That student then is removed from all activities. We went into what they called a mock morgue. And then they actually put on a mock drunk driving crash so the student body can come out and see it. This poem, Tiffany wrote April 4th of 2000, and it was the day after the program. And it's what Tiffany saw when she walked out the doors. She was not a participant. She was the student body that came out to see the accident happening, hearing the lights, the sirens, the ambulance, and everything. I walked outside the doors, but couldn't yet see the scene. I wondered what was happening, for I could only hear the screams. Suddenly, my heart just sank as I saw the wreck before me. My friends just lied all mangled, and this scene all dark and gory. These couldn't be my friends. This isn't really real. But then I heard the sirens, and I saw the bloody wheel. Tears fell from my eyes, for now it must be real. The paramedics came, but you just lied there, still. Everyone was trapped and scared as I heard their bloody cries. They tried their best to rescue them, but there's no use telling lies. 2 were taken away as the others lied under sheets. My body now just froze as I heard my classmates weep. Soon the families of the victims came and kissed their kids goodbye, but I couldn't help but wonder as I heard their moms cry. Why did the driver drink and drive? We will never really know, but because of his careless actions, my heart has lost its glow. My heart has been left to ache as I've watched all my friends die. So next time you decide to drink, who's going to drive? 10 months and 9 days later, she was killed by a drunk driver.